Okay, thank you so much. It's very nice to be here in Tampere. It's actually the first political meeting I'm in Finland. I haven't been that much to Finland, so... yes, what I'm going to talk about is the Left Exit Network initiative started last year. And I'm going to also go into some questions that is the fundament for this debate. But let me say two things about myself and the Lexit network. My name is Idar Helle and I'm a historian. Labour history, European, Norwegian labour history I've been working on, and European integration for some time. I work in DeFacto, which is a knowledge center for trade unions in Norway, quite small, but working in a way for the kind of left opposition in the unions, which is quite strong in Norway. I am also a deputy chairman in the Norwegian organization known to EU, which was the mass organizations that 2 times succeeded in keeping Norway outside the European Union. First time in 1972, then I was hardly born, so, and the second time in 1994, I was a member of the youth organization there. And it's still a quite important organization in Norway with 20,000 members. And the most important issue for us now is not the EU membership as such, but that Norway is also a part of the EU inner market. We are a part of the free movement of goods, services, labor and finance. So this is also a big issue in Norway. What I'm going to do now is very briefly say something about the Lexit initiative last year, which came out of directly from the crisis in Greece. The defeat of the Syriza government in Greece made it obvious for bigger parts of the European left that it was no longer possible to maintain the idea that you could change the EU from within into a more social union, respecting workers' rights, respecting the welfare system in Europe. So, yeah, okay.
Joo, eli hän alussa kertoi omaa taustaa, eli siis samaa mikä Sipus esittelyssä, että on niin kuin, Oslon yliopistossa tutkijana ja sitten on myös ammattiyhdistysliikkeessä mukana. Sitten No to EU eli EU-verkostossa, joka on Norjassa vanha, joka on vuonna 1972 alun perin toiminut sitä vastaan, että Norja liittyy Euroopan unioniin ja uudestaan vuonna 1994, ja järjestöllä on iso järjestö, yhä edelleen 20 000 jäsentä. Ja nyt hän tästä kertoo tästä Lexit-verkostosta ja sen toiminnasta.
So thanks a lot. Well, we don't have too much time in this session, so I go directly to the main points of the left exit appeal from last year when it was introduced. I wouldn't say that I myself is really central part of the startup of the left exit, but what I do is I know the people who has worked a lot with it, the 2 central persons, which is Cristina Asensi from Valencia, Spain, with background in the attack movement and also M15 movement in Spain, and Stefan Stiele, who is the councillor of the Linke party, but also has background in attack. And I first met them in an attack meeting in Barcelona some years ago, where there was a very harsh debate on pro or contra EU integration, and that kind of constituted this movement that has been going on organizing the exit.
Joo, hän siis on espanjalaisten aktivistien kanssa tätä niin Lexittiä alkanut tekemään, ja ensimmäinen tapaaminen oli kansainvälinen ATTAC-tapahtumassa. Ja sitä kautta tämä on alkanut.
So this is actually the main points in the Lexit appeal from last year. It opens up with a very strong word for the fundamental reason to strengthen democracy and also to strengthen popular sovereignty. And I think that this notion of popular sovereignty is very important. But it can be an expression of national sovereignty, but it can also be sovereignty on other levels than the national. But the thinking that you have to bring much more political power back to popular sovereignty is very crucial from an EU critique from the left, and it's very strong. The notion is in this appeal. Should I continue? They have a critique in the second point of the euro as a constant currency of prices from the start until now, because as was observed already in the start with the Maastricht Treaty and so on, the euro makes great imbalances in the European economy, especially with some countries in the core, among them especially Germany, which have a very strong economy, strong production, and makes strong imbalances with the other countries. And that is one of the main crises, as you may well know, of the finance crisis and the euro crisis in the years around 2010.
Joo, eli tässä, mistä 2016 tämä Lexit-vetoomus niin avaus on se, että niin liittyy demokratiaan ja itsenäisyyteen tai kansalliseen, ei ainoastaan kansalliseen itsemääräämisoikeuteen, vaan niin laajemmin, miten tämä Euroopan unioni vaikuttaa siihen. Ja sitten noissa toisessa pohjassa tässä niin nimenomaan korostaa sitä, että siis raha-euro on siis ollut tavallaan kriisivaluutta niin lähtökohtaisesti niin aina, ja se on luonut epätasapainoa niin euroalueen maiden välille.
Okay, so to go on with the third and fourth point mentioned here. The euro is strengthening a logic that you see already in the EU construction from the start, from the Rome Treaty in 1957 and until now, that it's actually a tool for finance capital, for capital to have a system where the interest of stability and non-inflation is much more important than the goals of employment and to secure the social rights and the workers' rights in Europe. Considering that even though we have had a crisis in 2010, considering how much richer and wealthier all Europe and also the Nordic countries are, why do we have worse social rights, worse workers' rights now than we had actually in the 60s and 70s? And this mainly comes back to the logic of the European Union projects to bring these standards down through the directives of the Commission, but most importantly of all, by the big power of the European Court of Justice. And the main point of the left exit is that you cannot simply turn the euro and the eurozone and the EU project into something good, then you have to change all the treaties in a very strong way, and it's better to take a step back, go out of the euro, and try to then reconstitute something from the start. And I think that is also very important to emphasize, that a left exit does not mean every European nation on its own. It means to take back popular sovereignty, democracy, and from this point start to build up something good, which is more has more in common with making a real social Europe in some standards and in some ways. And this is an important point of the discussion, where we should continue from where we started. The last point is that we also see a left exit as maybe one of the very few effective means to really address the big question of the right-wing xenophobia, racism, and startup of fascist forces in Europe. We have to build a credible alternative to the left, where we say no to the euro, a different start from the EU, and that this is the way to meet them, because the neoliberal center and the classical forces that is now in charge of EU cannot really conquer this movement, which you see also a lot spreading along working people, poor people. And we have to address it that way, that the far right is well, they are xenophobic, that's one thing, but they are also continuing really neoliberal policies, because okay, they want to stop migration, but they don't want to stop capital. They don't want to stop capital in any way. And if you really ask people what they want to stop, they want to stop the enforcement of capital forces and the strengthening all over Europe. And I think that would be an effective way to really tackle the problem of the right wing.
Joo, eli siis tuossa kohdasta 3 lähtien, niin toi euro on siis on siis siis euron työkalu, joka hyödyttää niin kuin finanssipääomaa ja toi kolmas kohta, neljäs kohta, se, että euro, sitä ei voi, se on idea, jota ei voida muuttaa hyväksi. Tämä Lexit-verkosto on tarkoituksena, että taistelu ennen kaikkea neoliberalismia vastaan ja demokratian ylläpitämistä tai tämä huolta, että on demokratia. Ja tuossa myös alussa tarkemmin, tai nimenomaan siis se, että jos nämä projektit olisivat niin hyviä, niin minkä takia sitten meillä on huonompi tilanne hyvinvointiyhteiskunnan monilla eri osa-alueilla kuin 60-70-luvulla. Jos meillä olisi onnistunut europrojekti, niin miksi tämä tilanne olisi. Ja sitten tähän kohtaan myös siis on tärkeää se, että erottaa tavallaan, miten oikeasti puhuu Euroopan unionista, äärioikeisto ja ennen kaikkea siis se, että on toi maahanmuutto vastainen tai muukalaisuuden vihamielinen, että nämä on tavallaan ne asiat, jotka äärioikeisto puhuu, mutta sitten samaan aikaan äärioikeisto myöskään ei halua pysäyttää, siis haluaa pysäyttää ihmiset, mutta ei halua pysäyttää pääomaliikkeitä Euroopan unionissa. Eli äärioikeisto on siis ajaa neoliberalistista linjaa, siis sama kuin Euroopan unioni. Ja Euroopan tarkoitus on, ettei täytyy rakentaa uskottava vaihtoehto niin kuin tällä koko Euroopalla ei voida tavallaan lähteä muuttamaan niin kuin yksittäisiä niin kuin, kohtia.
So this was the 4 questions I was asked to go into discussion with. I don't know, should I go into them now or briefly, or should I come back to them in the debate? Would that be, I could...
We can have this as a conversation, so you can return to these important questions.
Okay, then I just finish off now, so I can go back to these questions. I think they are very important and I'd like to follow up on them.